The 2025 Vuelta España is back in its home country, stage 5 after cutting through Italy and France. Yes, we're here in Spain, in the home of Dali. This is Figueres, and home rider Juan Ayuso, part of his team UAE Emirates, blasted their way through the team time trial to take victory. Blistering speed of around 56 kilometers an hour over the 24.1 kilometer TT and a time of 25 minutes and 26 seconds thereabouts. Don't hold me to it exactly. I've been out there under the hot sun here in Catalonia today, chasing the riders down, and some celebrating, some disappointed, and some teams simply not talking. And we'll get to that incident here in a minute. Now, UAE Emirates for their ride, for Juan Ayuso's ride, well, we thought he might take the red leader's jersey from David Gaudu, who took it yesterday when we were in France, the Frenchman of Groupama FDJ. David Gaudu did lose the jersey, but it was Jonas Vingegaard, who already held the jersey earlier on in this race, who took it back because their team, despite finishing, I think, 8 seconds down, 7-8, though they didn't win the team time trial, they did propel Jonas into the red leader's jersey, with Juan Ayuso setting second place overall and his teammates firmly stacked behind him and Jonas Vingegaard as we head into stage 6 tomorrow, which takes us to our 4th country in this 2025 edition, Andorra. Right behind Juan Ayuso in the GC, well, we have João Almeida, a Portuguese rider, and then I think we're looking at Marc Soler, another Spanish rider. Now, their ride today was perfecto, and the team was just blistering along, doing what they needed to do to hold off Visma. Now, Visma, we thought, what was going on? Because in this clockwise course that started and ended in Figueres, started right outside the Dali Museum there, just stunning surrealism, heading down the start ramp, clockwise around, and then finishing back again in Figueres. Visma going off hot, and then that second time check, not so much, and we thought maybe they'd done something wrong. We're looking back at stage 5 of the Tour de France in Cannes, and there we saw the team not go well, and they were looking at the bikes, wondering what's going on with their preparation. When Remco Evenepoel schooled them, well, today things were in order, and the team could be happy with what they did. Jonas, when he crossed the finish line, we were all there, and he took off his helmet. He's like, well, what time did I do? I don't know what happened. We showed him the phone. He looked at the times. He's scrolling there on the phone, as we all scroll on the phone and looking at the results. There they were, 7-8 seconds down on Team UAE, who would top the day and celebrate. Now, 3rd place overall, that was Mats Pedersen's Lidl Trek team. What a stunning ride out there, despite losing Carlos Verona at one moment due to that crash, hitting the barriers. It looked like he overcooked the corner. Carlos Verona, stage winner in the Giro d'Italia earlier this season, all-out road captain, the Spaniard. They came in, they were top team there for a while, but spent some time in the hot seat, but it wasn't enough to finally get that stage win that they're on the hunt for, with Mats Pedersen and Ciccone coming up short on a couple occasions. And we thought maybe Ciccone could, in fact, get the red leader's jersey on today, but it wasn't to be. Early pace setters, well, that was Lotto with the team rider of Ilia Viviani, who's so fast on the track, and that also translates over to a 24.1 kilometer team time trial. The team blistered out there, but as it is with time trials, well, as the day goes on, the favorite teams come in, and what we thought was a good time turns out not to be so great of a time. In fact, I think, 10th on the day for the team here in Figueres, and Groupama FDJ with Stefan King Kung powering along. David Gaudu just ousted them, and they came in as the last team, and they slotted in 9th place overall. Now we're looking at what happened out there on the course today. Jayco did a decent ride, but we saw Ben O'Connor there in their purple kit at the finish. Looks a lot like the Burgos kit. They were not happy. Ben O'Connor didn't look happy. Went over there, talked with his teammates, and oftentimes after the stage, Ben O'Connor can be hot or cold, and today, well, he was, depending on which way you look at it, hot or cold, but he was not happy. It didn't look like with the ride. Now we're going to have to get the full breakdown later on the team. Team Israel Premier Tech. Now they were out there powering along, and then we saw flash on the screen. We thought it might have been Decathlon, but we see up the road protesters there with Palestinian flags holding up Israel Premier Tech team. This was a disaster, and the team had to stop for some time, and at the end of the day, they were around 54 seconds back. Second last team ahead of Cofidis, so we're looking to see what the organizers are going to do, because the organizers is in control of keeping the race course safe, but on a bike race, you really can't protect every meter of the race course. And if someone wants to do harm or disrupt the race, we've seen it, usually it's in France, the protesters are out there all the time, be it the farmers or another group, always protesting. And today, they held up Team Israel Premier Tech. Now, the riders came in. We were looking to get some reactions and what was going on out there, if they were scared, what the case was. And the team press officer said no, the riders wouldn't be speaking after the stage. They'll put out a statement later on tonight. Let's hope they continue in the race. George Bennett, Matthew Riccatello came in. We saw Pierre Andre Cote come in, and the riders one by one, and then they rode off to the bus. And you wonder what the organizer is going to do to situate that time and what the team thinks, and we're going to have to see what that communique says later on tonight. But definitely not a great sight to see protesters holding up a team out there racing on the course. No matter your views, you shouldn't get involved in the bike race and the riders. And we also saw that during our interview with Matteo Jorgensen. I was there. There was someone with the flag, right beside me as I was trying to interview Matteo. And here comes a police officer, friendly, didn't push the woman back or anything, but asked her to step kindly behind the barriers there and do her protesting on the other side, not right up in the rider's face. And so teams slowly come in, and we saw another disaster. We're talking about Carlos Verona earlier on. This time, scary incident that a lot of people missed, and even the team staff of Red Bull missed it, because Matteo Sobrero, Italian, today he was involved in a crash. Now what happened, we spoke to, I think, Mick Van Dijk there at the finish, and he was pretty worried for Matteo Sobrero. He said, look, team did well at the time. They were 3 seconds down on the top time. Jai Hindley, former Giro d'Italia winner, didn't want to speak. He's the leader of the team. Spoke to Van Dijk, and he was explaining the incident, and he didn't really even want to talk too much about the team's ride today. Was kind of concerned about the safety of Sabrero, and at that point we thought maybe Sabrero had already abandoned the race. In fact, during the end of the interview, we saw Sabrero go by, blood all coming down on his face. Let's hope he's okay. Now, what happened, according to Van Dijk, and Van Dijk saw it all play out, is the lead rider pulled off, and he said, TTTs are riding so close, they're going so fast, and everybody's a bit lightheaded. I mean, they're going full out. If you've ever done a full-on aggression ride, and not to take anything away from Sabrero's ride, but if you're seeing my hands today, right there, on my run today, beautiful area in the Rhone Valley before we left France to come here to Spain, knee, hip, all bloody. I went down, hit a rock, and then lost my footing and went face first down there, palms hitting the ground, and you can see the bloody photos if you want on my Strava. Sobrero, apparently, he didn't see the front rider was coming off, and he wasn't expecting it, and apparently they touched wheels, overlapped, and down goes Sabrero. It was a nasty crash, and we're replaying it right now as you're looking at it on the screen. Thankfully, he did get it back up and come into the finish. We didn't get a word from Jonas Vingegaard, but we're going to catch up with him later on in the interviews. But the team today showed they're here to win this Vuelta España after 2 times in the Tour de France for Jonas. Now they're here to add another Grand Tour to his Palmares. Their number one rival, if they're to win this race, is Team UAE. Maybe the UAE team doesn't have the strongest rider to upset Vingegaard, but they have the strongest team with Ayuso, with Almeida, and support riders like João. This team, even with Tadej Pogacar, can deliver. So buckle up, get ready, because tomorrow's another summit finish, 2 of the 10 summit finishes, and we're heading into Andorra, where a lot of riders, including Mike Woods, who's retiring at the end of this season, call home. This is going to be a crazy, great summit finish stage with our race favorite heading into the race in the race leader's red jersey, Jonas Vingegaard and UAE on a high after taking a stage win and winning this Tissot watches. João, we saw him already putting it on the podium. What a day of racing. Drama, crashes, protesters, UAE winning the stage, Jonas Vingegaard in red at the end of stage 5 of the 2025 Vuelta España.